Streaming now. Streaming now. YouTube.com/MikeMorales official. Tweet. And then we go here. And we paste. Done. Okay. Good times. I got my dinner here. I'm going to talk all about Los Angeles, the Rogan stuff. Got a lot to cover. For once, I have content instead of my usual garbage opinions. This time, I have my garbage opinions and content. So that's going to be a plus. Yeah, so we're going to wait till we got like about 100 people here. Then we're going. I hope you all. I did for. I'll just give people a second to get here. Hope everyone's having a good Sunday. I certainly am. I am having a. I mean, I got there's so much to talk about. I don't even know where to start. I'm sure you all have a lot of questions about Rogan, the Rogan experience. Ironically enough. So we're just gonna give people a sec to get here. It's up to 24. Different people have different numbers. I'm going. Another great Rogan appearance. Thank you, Edward. Thank you so much. So, we got 91 people here, and I'll tell you all about it. Like, I had so much fun in Los Angeles this time. Like, so much fun. I'm gonna be back next Friday, so it's going to be so much to do. It's really going to be quite epic. Okay, we got 125 people here. Is Mike Morales beating off again? Damn it. He is not. He is not. But he is wearing pants. So that is a step in the right direction. Although we're not all the way there to decency. So I watched, my friend Steph came over and I watched the first half of the Rogan appearance, an hour and a half. And when you start doing television and podcasts with like video and things like this, it's very hard to watch yourself. And also it's first of all, it's you know, like when you hear your voice for the first time on a tape recorder. By the way, I was wrong. I always thought I'd sound like Ben Shapiro, and I don't. It's hard to watch yourself because you're cringing, and then you catch how many times you say or an and so on and so forth. And then after a while, you can see it as kind of the audience to some extent. We're all going to have kind of a little bit of blindness about ourselves. But the more you do it, the better you get at it, from my opinion and experience. Maybe I'm talking on my ass because we're all kind of oblivious to ourselves. But can you get Rogan to bring on Tom Woods? No. I was watching with my friend Steph. I don't watch podcasts. I'm not the kind of person, like, I loathe school, because for me, sitting there quietly and watching someone talk is not my idea of fun. I get irritated. And do you think the JRE appearance is what got Tulsi? We're going to get to that in a second. Yes, I do think so. Because, yes, for those who don't know what Sean's referring to, Tulsi followed me yesterday on Twitter, and I apologized in advance and retroactively for all my tweets, which are cancer and garbage. So, yeah. So anyway, so I was watching with my friend Steph. I watched the first half. It's very important as you progress in your career, in my view, to watch what you're doing and analyze what you're doing as critically as possible and try to see it from the audience perspective as much as possible. This sounds obvious. It's not to most people. They don't think in these terms. This is one of the reasons I wear my Fruity Little suits. on these shows is because I think to myself, okay, it takes literally, so to speak, yes, thank you, Tragic Slip. It takes literally no effort, or the minimum amount of effort, to stand out visually on a television program, but even that is too much for most people because they are just so kind of NPC thinking, but they're on television. So what I got about Rogan, and Rogan talked about this on the show, is the Rogan show works the best when it's a hang. When it's two guys, or Rogan and a girl, or sometimes there's three of them, shooting the shit, and the audience is basically their pal in the room who doesn't have much to say, but is really enjoying the conversation and kind of just broing out kind of thing. And what I learned, and this was my fourth time, is any chance you'd go on Eric Weinstein's podcast. Sure, if he invited me, of course. What I learned is how I went in there. I had one thing on my plate that I really wanted to happen, and that one thing was to talk about the sexual abuse stuff with my friend Matt. And I had even asked Matt, I go, hey, write me a letter that I'm going to bring this up on Rogan. This is going to help a lot of people. Write me a letter, because Matt kind of registered in his head. And by the way, he told me to use his name, so that wasn't a mistake. That was on purpose. He said, I said, write me a letter so that if Matt were listening to this, you could talk to him directly. And I didn't want to read it until I was there at Rogan, so I would read it directly. And I had this whole bit prepared where I was going to say, Dear Michael, you are so much smarter, more important, funnier, and smarter than me. Thank you for being my friend. And I was going to say, I helped him write this intro. I had to tone it down. He was using things like Child of Destiny and Savior, which might be accurate, but still comes off as too much. But the email he sent me was literally 12 paragraphs. And I'm like, I can't, that's not going to happen. Plus, when you're on that show, what I realized and what makes that show work, and it makes you work as a guest, the way I think of it is surfing. You don't know where it's going to go. You have to surf. I don't know how to surf, but my understanding is you have to surf with the waves. If you're going against them, you're done. And just go with the flow, as they always say, the stupid expression. And it's going to bounce all over the place. And, Joe's going to have his monologues, and the guest is going to have their monologues, and that's fine. But if you come in there and be like, I want to talk about these three things, it's to me, it is not as fun, but also it's very hard to, I think, pull off. So I went in there with that being the goal, that I'm there to hang out and have fun. And I think that makes it fun for the audience. And I was very surprised this time and the last time, because the internet is full of haters and losers, and I say this with great affection. They cannot help the fact they're bored, fucked up, who are really shit talkers, which I'm no stranger to. And the comments were overwhelmingly, last time and this time, positive, which is really saying a lot on anything on the internet. So I'm like, okay, I'm clearly doing something right. And also, this is kind of some inside baseball for you guys. From my understanding, and I could be talking my ass, back in the day, Johnny Carson, and hopefully you all know who that is, if not, goggle it, when he had stand-up comedians on his show, when the comedians are there and Johnny likes them, he'd call them over to the couch, and this was a sign of respect and that this guy has it. And for Rogan, my understanding is, and again, I could be getting this completely wrong, he'll go 2 hours, but if he likes you, it's going to go 3. And, this time he went 3, and he cut it off just because we reached the 3-hour mark. So it was a great hang. When I'm in that room, I'm always very worried, because you can't stay on for 3 hours. Do you think Joe is bisexual? I have no way of knowing, and if he doesn't identify as such, I don't think he is. If he is, more power to him. I don't think so, though. When you're in there, you can't be on for 3 hours. Like I don't maybe someone else can, I can't. And I think if you're trying to be on, you're going to be come off as fake or phony. Um, and what happened? And also, it's a very comfortable environment because Joe very much has a amiable, friendly energy. You're making the eye contact, so you're locked in this interaction. And the room is you got the curtains, so it's not a huge room, but you're kind of it's intimate, right? There's a sense of intimacy, and you if you are going to go in there, like Rogan said himself on this episode, if you're going to go in there and try to be on, it's going to be if you're thinking of how many people are watching you, it's going to fuck you up, and it's never a good idea to do that. So after, there were two things I was worried about, because then you leave and then you're like, oh shit, what did I say? And you have to try to remember 3 hours of like off the cuff comments, and like, is this gonna get called out? Is that gonna get called out? Is this gonna get called out? And what's really, maybe this is my Russian brain, is like he's like, hey, do you want to hang out after? And I had my friend there to pick me up, and I didn't know he was gonna say that, but I'm always big on this expression, don't go past the sale. And I'm like, I'm going to say something to fuck this up. Let me get the hell out of here. Is kind of my autistic mindset. So the two things I was concerned about that people would call me out on, which didn't happen at all, is when I used the term Chinaman to refer to that girl, and when I was talking about Kamala Harris. But Joe was much harsher on Kamala Harris than I was. So I got no pushback about anything. So I was really pleased about that situation, and it was very gratifying. The other thing that happens is, we taped this on Monday, and he dropped it the next. Any chance you're going to write that book you mentioned? No. I've got 2 book ideas. I emailed my agent. I had another idea over the weekend. We'll see which, and I'm going to get this proposal done. That book's probably not going to happen. We taped it Monday, and he dropped it on Tuesday, so I got to fly back to New York and not have to worry about my social media exploding while the episode was up. I can have that Monday into Los Angeles, relaxing and having an enjoyable time. So, yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's good having an open invite on that show. It's fun. Like, it's not nerve-wracking now. Now, for me, it's fun. And I went in there being like, okay, what are we going to talk about? And it's just great knowing it doesn't matter. I know enough about enough things that's going to end up happening. So that was very, very gratifying. The other shows I did there was Bridget Fettis's show, which was amazing. Me and her have such a blast. I was the first repeat guest on Walk-ins Welcome. If you haven't downloaded that, it's just us cackling the whole time. So I think I asked her during the show, I'm like, do we come off as endearing or insufferable? There might be a little bit of both. That was really, really great. And I did Jason Stapleton's show. That was a surprise. And Ethan Suplee, who just became a meme, he's the actor. He has a podcast that just launched on the 8th about fitness and food issues and health for your health, called American Glutton. And I did that episode, and we got pretty personal in a good way on that. So that was a lot of fun. And I'm back for Ruben on the 29th taping, and also Babylon Bee. And this is going to be in person. I did the Bee before, and now we're going to do it. Fuck it, we'll do it live. It's going to be really, really fun. I had the thing with Los Angeles, the one thing that sucked about LA is I had a list of all these cool like indie art galleries I wanted to hit because I thought that'd be some new rabbit hole to go down, but they were all closed on Monday, which is so dumb. So it was very, very frustrating to me. And I was also surprised, and I tweeted this out, I got like huge influx of Rogan Twitter followers, far more than I did the other times. And I've only had to block like under 20 people. So if you're gaining 7,000 and you're blocking 20, I mean, do the math. The amount of people who are horrible is very, very low. So this claim that everyone on Twitter is horrible, I don't think that's true. I think it's just you have to be, heavily blocking people, and you form your own community, and it's wonderful. So yeah, that's yeah. I don't know. I just had a good time. I guess if anyone has any questions, it was very weird because there were a couple of times when what I liked about some of the comments, I looked at the YouTube comments, I'm sure there's 3 times as many now, is there were all these jokes that I threw in that I'm watching with my friend Steph, and when I watch these shows, I try to watch as much as I can as if I'm the audience. And I'm like, I was cracking up because there was a lot of times, and I think we only watched half of it, or at least 5, when I dropped a joke and Joe didn't react at all. So it's like when you watch a sitcom and someone has a great line and the characters don't react, it's so much funnier because as the audience you're picking up on something that the other people don't register. So that was really, really fun. So yeah, it's you were the answer man on point, as the kids say. I don't know what that means. But thank you, I guess, Brian. So yeah, it was I'm also in kind of in Snap City, but that's going to be okay. He was hurting to walk a little bit today. And it's also really kind of great that, me and Joe, I think, are very different personalities, but to have this kind of mutual affection and respect is really validating and flattering, and it's cool. It's just very weird for me, between, doing work in the UFC and this, to have like bro cred, like I have the like ultimate bro cred if we need to go there. So it's because I am very much not a bro, to put it mildly. So it's really kind of cool to have that. I mean, the more rooms you can feel comfortable in, I think the more developed and kind of actualized you are as a human being. So it's really kind of great in that regard. That deadlift joke was the bee's knees. Yeah, I've said that joke before. I said it to Janae when she was on my show. I don't understand how he. I don't get how he didn't. The American History X thing, that I couldn't believe. That I couldn't believe when Joe's like, "Don't you mean American History 10?" I'm like, really? Like I was shocked at this. I was really, really shocked. And I told that to Ethan, who was in American History X, and he was like peeing his pants. So, yeah, it was great. I don't know. I was having a lot of fun. I don't know if that's common or not, but yeah. So I'll be on again, I'm sure, at some point. The Ruben, that's the other thing. Like, the Ruben show is absolutely going to blow this out of the water. And it's going to be amazing. It's going to be absolutely, absolutely amazing. What else? Oh, so let's talk about what happened yesterday. So when I got that notification that Tulsi followed me, there was audible shrieking in my house, possibly for me, and certainly for me. It was so good, and I couldn't handle it. And what else was really great about it is I know that she followed me after, and this is not correlation, it's causation, but these things happened chronologically. I'm on Rogan talking about no one knows how to roast a pig like a Hawaiian, and then she follows me, and I'm like, oh shit. So on some level, she must have at least liked that joke, because it's a good joke. Even if you like Kamala Harris and hate Tulsi, it's a good joke. Well, no, if you like Kamala Harris, you're going to be pretty humorless because she's really, garbage. But I think you all understand what I'm saying. And now it's like every time like something like this happens, like I'm always scared like Belinda Carlisle has unfollowed me and she hasn't, and I don't understand why, because I tweet so much and so much of it just cancer. So here's the other thing that happened. I am, you get to a certain age, like my age, and you pick up things, and then you're in a position to be like, let me offer you this kind of blanket advice. If someone is having great appearance, bro, can't wait for the others, good work, A+. Thank you, Bobby. That's very kind of you. That's really sweet. If this is something I believe with every fiber of my being, like every fiber of my being. If you are having joy is rare, joy is precious, joy is wonderful. Life is very, very hard, and we should seek as much joy in it as we can. And that is like kind of the struggle in life. I feel this very strongly, and I hate cynicism. I fight it constantly. I said this to Bridget. If there's one group of people I wish I could reach out to, the black-pilled. Even if America is going downhill, even if Western civilization is lost, that doesn't mean you can't find your happiness within it. I hate that. If you are having a moment of joy and someone's impulse is to jump in and be like, actually, or try to not let you have that moment, like time and a place, get rid of them from your life immediately. Like, these people are total cancer. Did you defoo Joey's salads? No, I didn't, when he didn't get your instant verification. Joey tried. So Joey's a mensch. I'm a big Joey Salads fan. In fact, if someone had asked me whose opinion of them had changed the most between before I met them and then after, it's Joey Salads. I'd have John McAfee on this second. Absolutely, tweet back at him. That's an easy one. If he'd have to be in New York. Isn't he like not allowed to New York? So if you're having joy and someone jumps in to in any way mitigate it, they are pure evil. And this happened yesterday. Tulsi follows me. I'm freaking out. At the very least, now I've got the ear of Tulsi, right? At the very least. This is a good thing, unambiguously, from my perspective, and if you at all like what I'm doing from your perspective. And some just garbage person jumps in to reply to that tweet. Well, blah, blah, blah with Iran, blah, 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 fuck her. No, fuck you. If I'm excited that someone followed me, this is not the time to be like, you shouldn't be excited or she's a bad person. No, fuck you, you're garbage. You're a horrible, despicable human being. Just unmitigatedly and utterly to it. There's nothing else to it. Just really wretched people. So whenever shit like that happens, and if you have a job, you gotta have a good date. Like, there's this mindset. Any thoughts on the Neon Taster Michael Tracy stuff? Wait, okay, what do you think of Bernie surging? Okay, let's talk about the Neon Taster Michael Tracy stuff. I don't have any thoughts per se. I really don't like it when people I like fight. And it really bothers me. And there was also a fight yesterday between George Raboy, who I low-key hate, who's a great guy, and Cassandra Fairbanks. That bothered me. And so what do you think of Bernie surging? I think he's going kamikaze, and I don't think it's going to last. They're just looking for alternatives to Biden, and I think this is very short term. So yeah, I just can't stress enough and how I found, like, if you have let's suppose you had a good date or you had a good job interview or something like this, and someone comes up and goes, well, it's just the first date, don't get too excited. Fuck you. Just fuck you and everything about you. You're just a horrible, horrible person, and get rid of them. If you could take one piece of advice from me, well, that's not the one, but that's a big one, and I mean that absolutely with every fiber of my being. The thing about Neon Taster is Neon Taster was out. Like, this wasn't news, his name. I don't understand what relevance it is who his uncle is, because it doesn't mean that his views are the same. And from my understanding, and I follow him fairly closely, I haven't seen him being much of a neocon in the sense of banging the war drums at all. So I don't get it. But it's unfortunate. I guess I'm gonna give the political answer, and it doesn't make me happy. And I'm someone who likes chaos, but this is the side of the chaos that I don't really like at all. So that was really kind of sad to see. Yeah. What else can we talk about? No, so I get the Tulsi follow, and I'm like, holy crap. And she, I tweeted at her, and she replied immediately, and I would bet good money that it's her and not a staff member, because she's I've covered this on my show Nightshade. She has the best social media game of those Democrats. Maybe Bernie has a good one. I don't really know, because after every debate, she put together a compilation of best debate moments, and she put herself front and center. But those compilations were actually excellent. So I'm like, okay, this is very savvy. Tulsi to Donald Trump Jr., the whole spectrum. Who is next? Who is my next big follow that I would like? That's a great question. If I could have one follow, who would I love? I don't know that I have an answer. I mean, this is obviously who would be. I mean, Tulsi was the one, right? I don't know. I can't even think of who that would be. Maybe like Melania. Like, that would be really funny. Because Trump keeps his at 45 because he's the 45th president, or 46. So that's not happening. No, it could be someone like David Spade. Like, that would be amazing. One step closer to Tulsi, and you're welcome. Congrats. That's not good. That's not what's going to be what happens next. Watch. Melania would be great. Or someone like, who else do I really like? Who was I really I got Louis Theroux, which was weird. He's got 2 million followers. Who would I really like? I think it would be someone like kind of more mainstream. You know what it is? What happens is you get these names, and they're like mainstream, and you're like, how the hell does this person know who I am? Like, that happens a fair amount, and it's just like, holy shit, wow. Like, Cheryl Atkinson followed me not that long ago. So, yeah, like, it's going to be someone rando, and it's going to be like, oh shit, that's pretty cool. And it's going to be like when, I don't know. I don't have a good answer. That's a great question. I mean, Tulsi was the one, especially because it's her who is doing the social media account. Oh, my God. Yeah, we had dinner that night, me and Bridget and Ruben, and he had this guest who was former CIA, which was something I had very mixed feelings about. And the things he was saying about the CIA, I was just like, it made me more of an Emma Goldman anarchist than ever. Let me assure you. So, yeah, it was oof. Oh God, it was just horrid and wretched, and just completely reprehensible. Luke Groman, who's Luke Groman? Crossover episode would be awesome. Non-anarchist explains in a clear, concise way why the U.S. dollar is going to fall very soon to an anarchist using Harry Potter references. I don't know what any of that means. I'm sorry, Brad. I don't follow that at all. Let me look up who Luke Groman is. Any updates on your show with Tom Woods? Yeah, we're recording and animating it as we go along. So I don't know when it's going to be released. Luke Groman. Forest for the trees. Oh, he's not even verified. Ugh, my God. Would you say Benjamin Netanyahu has done more for good for liberty in Israel and move Israel closer further to liberty in the future? I have no idea. I do not follow Israeli politics at all. So I don't know who he's against. He seems to have done a good job with stabilizing security, which I would think would be the prerequisite for liberty. But that's all I really know about him. Other than that, he's like he seems like a very much like, fuck the social justice warriors types. So How will the corporate media portray the Iranians that are protesting the regime? I think they'll ignore him, ignore it, or they won't. They'll pretend it's completely independent of what Trump did. So, yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. They're like, Chile. I cover this on Nightshade a lot. Chile, there were protests, and other countries, and they don't know what to do with it because they can't. If it's not a function of Trump, there's not really what they know what to say. So, yeah, I'm not really sure that I have a good answer or any particular insight. It's going to be stupid. So, yeah. Do you write in your books? No, what I do is at the back page. I'll show you this. So I'll write here. I'll take notes this way to keep track. And if I'm reading it on ebook, I'll do a screen capture. But I do not write in my books. What else did I want to discuss? I'm so scared. I mean, I slid into Junior's DMs. He didn't reply. He left me on red. And I have to slide into Tulsi's DMs at the end of the month. And I'm a little nervous about that, but it's going to be fine. My dad calls Netanyahu a schnorrer. Okay. Cool. I don't know what that means. My Yiddish is not what it should be. So let me look up what schnorrer is. Is that sounds bad? Schnorrer. A beggar, a scrounger? A freeloader? Okay, that seems interesting. I don't know. Do you have any tips to stay consistent with your work schedule when you are self-employed? That's an easy one. Yes, and this is going to be a hilarious, very malice answer. I got my lifestyle as a function of watching the movie About a Boy with Hugh Grant. And that movie, Hugh Grant is an heir. His father had written a very popular Christmas song, and now he's living his life on the residuals. So what the character does, I forget the character's name, is he divides his day into segments of time. So like getting my hair carefully must, 3 segments. Taking a bath, 4 segments. So I have a very strict structure to my day, and that helps a lot. If you don't have this structure, and when I write, I will write from like 2 to 3, or 4 to 5, or 7 to 8, for example. So I am very, very structured with my day, and I think that's... And I also am very big on keeping my own biorhythm. So I go to bed at 2, and I wake up at 11 Monday through Sunday, and that helps a lot, in my opinion, with keeping productive and keeping happy, staying happy. So that's just my kind of advice. And dinner is done. Okay. What else did I want to discuss? I don't know that I have that much else to talk about. I talked about this on Rogan. Like, I highly recommend the Museum of Jurassic Technology. It is so much fun. It is my favorite place in Los Angeles. What else did I do when I was in LA? Hit a couple of comic book stores. I'm staying at this kind of fancy hotel. Next time I'm there, I'm getting like a good rate, which I've never done before because I enjoy staying with friends. But I'm like, you know what? Let me be a grown up. I am 75 years old, and stay at a hotel. So it's going to be a lot of fun doing that when I'm there at the end of the month. What else did I want to discuss? I don't know that I really had anything. What else did I want to talk about Rogan? I'm just trying to go through my appearance because it's so long. Yeah, I went in there. My only agenda, if I'm going to use that term, was to discuss the sexual abuse stuff. And I had a segue really early. I nailed the segue, brought it up. And once that was done, I'm like, all right, now we could just coast. Arduous March 3 at Compound, make it happen. It is not going to happen. I promise you, it is not going to happen. I still have bottles in my house because I don't drink. It's not going to happen. Yeah. So yeah, that I was really relieved about that, and I had only positive reactions to that subject I discussed. So that was very gratifying to have. I don't know what else we can discuss. It was very warm in New York today, which I really enjoyed. But I can't really walk because I have a pain in my thigh because I pulled on. I'm in Snap City, so it's really weird. Keep in touch with Freddie Lim and the Taiwan election. I have not heard from Freddie since our interview, which is not a surprise. It's not a big deal. I wish him well, but I haven't been following that at all. So. All right. Wow, this is wrapping up sooner than I thought. I'm trying to think of what else we discussed in the show that I can expound upon. And it was also really funny. Any chance of a March 3 Super Tuesday stream? Isn't March 3 a weekday? Because if it's a weekday, I'm going to be taping Nightshade, so that's probably not going to happen. I did miss doing Nightshade, I got to tell you. It was really fun. Any update in the Malice in Russia idea? It's not happening in the near future. I've got so much on my plate. The problem is having, 2 shows. I think Freddie quit his party and became an independent. Oh, okay. That's cool. I really enjoyed talking to him. He was a good dude. That was very early on with the Gas Digital version of You're Welcome. Oh, God. Tuesday's show, this Tuesday, and You're Welcome. It is going to be amazing, and there's a prop which came in the mail. I'm not even going to tell you. It's going to be so funny, and also very, very, very intense. So yeah, it's gonna be great. Okay, I don't really know how that much else to discuss. I hope you all enjoyed the Rogan show. I certainly had a great time, and I'm shocked at how great the reaction was. I'm going to go watch some playthroughs of some video games. I will see you all on Twitter in the near future. Yeah, are you going to pay taxes on this? Oh, absolutely. Chris, okay, here we go. Hey, Michael, You're Welcome has been knocking it out of the park. Really enjoying it. You look shredded on Rogan. I didn't at all. Don't lie. I had a killer time in New York thanks to your recommendations. Are you still planning on going to Skankfest Houston? I'm not going to Skankfest Houston. I was never invited. I messaged Lewis. I'm like, hey, I want to do You're Welcome there and do one of the songs with that band. He's like, cool. No following up. So it's not going to happen, unfortunately. Trump tweeting in... The cum gutters are coming in. I got my waist down to under 25 inches today, so I'm very, very happy. I lost a pound overnight after dropping more calories, so I'm really, really pleased. Trump tweeting in Farsi. In Morse code? Yeah, it was really, really great. It was really, really great. Oh, God, I don't know how he keeps outdoing himself. Like, this guy's like 80 years old. Watch a Coder 2 playthrough. What's Coder 2? Let's watch this. What's this? This isn't what I like. This is terrible. Are you kidding me? No. That's not what I like at all. This is terrible. It's terrible. What else was it? Oh, so I've been spite funding that Fujio penny from 1787, and people are like, what's with the Fujio penny? It's like, well, these things aren't growing on trees. You have to wait for one to be on eBay and get an affordable price, and a lot of them are also worn out. The reason you want the Fujio penny is for it to have the slogan to say, mind your business. That's the whole fun of it. Any tips on dealing with writer's block? Oh, that's easy. Always leave some in the tank. So when I write, I've given this advice several times. When I write for an hour, I get 3 pages done, and then I stop. Because that way, tomorrow, I will have something to pick up with. And my brain will be thinking about it for 24 hours. Do not write as much as you can. Write, and also it's easy to slow, steady, incremental improvement. So if I am writing 3 pages a day, I have a book in 100 days. If I'm writing as much as I can every day, it's going to fuck me up psychologically. So stick to 3 pages. Shame Lewis on not bringing you to Houston. I'm going to be on Skanks next Monday, so maybe I can be a passive-aggressive bitch about it then. So, yeah, we'll see. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Whew, I haven't done that show in a long time, and I had to yell at Lewis because I asked him twice, then I asked Dave, nothing, and he's in the studio. Lewis, I'm like, what the fuck? And he's like, dude, it's not that we're snubbing you, it's that we don't know what the fuck we're doing. I'm like, okay, well, that's cool. That's cool. So it's gonna be Martin Luther King Day. I'll be there, not in blackface, but maybe like Puerto Rican face, snake face. They'll call it. They'll call it snake face. Yeah, it's gonna be a hoot. It's gonna be a hoot. Yeah, I've only done a show once. It was with Tim Dillon, who unfollowed me on Twitter, and I don't know why, because we've texted each other. So that hurt my feelings a little, and I have nothing but good things to say about Tim. But it's cool. It's cool. It's cool. Everything's cool. Okay, now I'm going to bounce. Why no video on the Buck Sexton episode? Oh God. Okay, this is what happened. We tape the interview. We leave. I get a call from my producer, the first time he ever called me. And he said he was literally crying. The computer went down and they lost the episode. And I'm like, oh my God, this is just like fucking Dolph Ziggler all over again. And they ran a scan. He's like, okay, we recovered the audio. And then they ran a scan for the computer to look for the video. They couldn't get it. Fine. I thought it was even funnier. If I'm going to lose one episode's video, let it be this one, because we spent the first 15 minutes talking about how big his head is. So it worked as a troll, not intentionally, that we're talking about how big his head is and there's no video. So I'm like, all right, if it's going to happen, let it happen now. So it was very frustrating. Like my producer was very, very upset. And I was, pretty upset as well. But like, listen, as long as we had the audio, because I thought it was a great interview. He got heated. He was naming names. He was throwing hands, man. I was like, whoa, Buck. It was not messing around. So I was like, okay, so this was a lot of fun. We got, Dave Lando coming up. We got Gino coming up. I'm trying to lock down Andrew Schultz. We've been texting as well. So that's going to be really, really fun. Those are all great, great guys. Who I really enjoy. It's fun with the comedians because I think we're both humor, but we're different personalities. So it's this kind of it becomes a lot of fun. If you bust balls to get invited to Houston, I'll buy you your plane ticket. Okay, sure, done. A verbal contract is binding in the state of New York. I will watch the 20th. I will bust balls, and if that happens, then you're on, anonymous internet stranger. Yeah, okay. And I'm sure getting a hotel at Houston is not going to be expensive either. So, yeah, okay. The 20th, we'll find out. Because it's the end of March, so there's plenty of time, right? So, yeah, okay. It makes me feel unloved. I'm like one of the, like the big shows in the network. People respect me. And then this happens. It makes me. What am I? A minority? This is terrible. It's terrible. So, it's. I will ask him about it on the show. It's also a good excuse to fucking bust balls. So yeah, it's gonna be a win-win all the way around. I had so much fun on last year's Skankfest too. Just walking around, meeting people. Everyone's really friendly. Like the fans are just really cool. Which you would think there'd be like, some would be horrible. No. So it's yeah, I'm sure. Look, that's the other thing. If I get there, I'm sure we could record episodes of You're Welcome while I'm there. I don't need something special. There's gonna be cameras and mics galore. It's not gonna be hard. Yeah, there's gonna be plenty of people I can interview. They're not gonna have shit to do. They're gonna be hanging around getting drunk. Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I don't need to do You're Welcome live. Whatever, we'll figure it out. Okay, so but it'll be more fun this way if I bring the heat next Monday. I love those guys like so much. Like Big Jake, Dave. I have so much fun hanging with them and talking to them. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's easy and fair. And I'll just have to figure out how to do. Actually, I don't have to figure out how to do Nightshade because it's a weekend, isn't it? So I'll just fly out for a few days. Who did you want to put in you right but didn't have the time or space? No one. I don't think there was anyone. Thank you, Dave. That's very kind of you. I don't think there's anyone I wanted to cover that I didn't really cover. Um, yeah, I thought it was pretty comprehensive. My editor wanted to be personality driven. I did not. I didn't. Because I knew the personalities would be ephemeral. I wanted this to be, and I talk about this in the book. I want it to be more idea driven. It's more of an Al Qaeda structure. You know, as much as the corporate press wants to portray it as there are these ringleaders, it's much more, you know, decentralized than that. So I don't think there was anyone in there. And I knew that if you're talking about personality, it's so dynamic. By the time the book goes to press, it's going to be outdated. So I try to dodge that bullet as much as possible. I am an Anglophile. No, I'm not. Never mind. I love Thatcher, but like the rest of Britain, and E. Nesbitt, but it's like, ugh, it's a disaster. Yeah, it's just a total calamity. Okay, so we'll do Skankfest. Yeah, that'll be easy. I've never been to Houston, or as they call it, Houston. Rogan was white supremacy. I agree it was white supremacy. It's the other thing is, when I left Rogan, the security guard, who's this giant Danish dude who's like 6'6", great guy, and he's like former Navy SEAL. And he's one of those people who's super friendly. And you know, the thing is, and I talked to him about this, Terry Shappert's another one. When you talk to these guys who are very well trained in killing and combat, they never come off as macho in the sense of posturing. They're very relaxed. And also, if you're going to fight, you are kind of relaxed because you're ready for the fight to go in any direction. So there's no intimidation factor from them. So it's really fun talking to them because it's like having a German Shepherd as your dog, and then you forget, oh, this animal can kill people easily, but it's so friendly and cuddly, and you can mush its face, and it's not going to do anything because it knows the very, very thick line between friends and rough housing and busting balls and even a little aggression and threat. Like it's a huge divide. So it's and the thing is, so as I was saying, is as I left, the first thing he said to me was, that was really great what you, after the 3-hour show, what you talked about with the child abuse, sexual abuse. And I'm like, okay, good. So right away, someone has picked that out as important and appreciated it. So I was like, fuck yeah, so check. That's all I wanted to do in that episode, and that ended up happening. And also I don't know. It's if you were in Spain for their civil war, would you fight alongside the anarchists or stay home and eat quality Spanish ham? I gotta tell you, I'm a hedonist, meaning a lover of pleasure. So I would be eating the ham. That's not even tough. It's not even tough at all, Peter. Sorry, Emma. It's not happening. I don't think I'd be much good in a civil war of any kind. That was the other thing. Talking on Rogan about this live stream with all these hams, and no one got pissed. Which is, it just goes to show that expression, Twitter isn't real life. Because on Twitter, people are like, oh, blah, 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 you're calling her a pig, that's racist for some reason. And you do the show and no one thinks that. Maybe they roll their eyes, maybe they think it's tasteless and crass, which is fair, but they're not like, oh, it's racist to call her a pig. It's like, okay, yeah, cool story, bro. Oh, God, oh, my God. Oof. I'm just so scared Tulsi's gonna unfollow me. So, yeah, it's also cool that I basically invited myself on Rogan. I DM'd him, like, hey, I'm thinking of planning a trip to LA. Are you down? And he's like, yeah, let's do it. So to have that level of respect and is something I do not take for granted. I do not take it for granted. That's such a huge deal. And I mean, this guy could talk to anyone he wants. So the fact that he wants to talk to me for some reason, and I'm not modest, but it's still extremely flattering, is just wonderful. I mean, that's all I can say. And the fact that the fan response is so positive is also wonderful, and I don't take for granted. So this is delightful. And again, I hate cynicism. When people good things happen to you, celebrate them and appreciate them and feel happy for them. These are great things. It's January hasn't even started. It's not even half over, and I've already got like all these amazing things happen. You know, freaking Tulsi and Rogan. And then at the end of the month, you guys don't even know. You guys do not even know. I feel bad for Ruben. I feel bad for Ruben. So, and I don't feel bad for him, but it's just going to be like this is going to be the most epic Ruben report ever. Other than the debate between Candace Owens and Blair White. So this will be number 2. Have you thought about having Owen on your welcome again? Owen's not in New York. So I am not big on getting people who aren't, I only do in studio. I thought you eating ham because you're Hamiltonian. No. It was because she's a pig. Oink, oink. It was tough finding $400 worth of ham. Let me assure you. It was tough, but I managed, and I showed the receipts on my Instagram, which was a lot of fun. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm just having such a great 2020 already, and I can't even handle it. It's not even 2 weeks in. So this is a very good time, and already I have an even better LA trip planned, and not even January. So, and looks like I guess I'll go to Houston. So, yeah, it's gonna be great. Good times. All right, guys. Now, if that's everything, I think I'm going to bounce. Gonna watch. What am I watching? What's it called? I'm watching Machinarium or Machinarium. It's really fun. Gonna do some reading. Gonna relax. Yeah. Okay, guys. See you on Twitter. Thanks for all the support. Seriously, there's gonna be news with that as well in the near future. I don't want to spoil anything. Stay tuned. And have a good one. Yeah.